The rain was falling, like the sky was crying. Thunder shook the ground. In the cold mud sat a young girl named Amara. She was shaking, soaked, and alone. She held a small, broken picture of her late father against her chest. She crawled to the house door and knocked with weak hands. "Please, stepmother, open the door. I am freezing," she cried. Madame Zola opened the window. In her warm robe, holding hot tea, she looked at Amara and laughed. "You again? This house is not for trash. Go sleep with the street dogs." She threw Amara's small bag into the mud and slammed the window. Amara hugged the picture and sobbed. "Papa, why did you leave me?" Her tiny body was giving up. Then bright headlights hit her face. A black luxury car stopped. A tall man stepped out and held an umbrella over her. "You don't belong in the mud," he said. "Come with me." Before we go back to Amara's painful journey, please subscribe. Your support helps us tell more stories of children who suffer and rise again. Bye. 3 years before that cold, rainy night, Amara lived a very different life. The big house was once filled with warm light, happy voices, and the smell of her father's cooking. Amara used to run through the hallways with a bright smile on her face. She felt safe, loved, and free. Her father always told her, "My child, as long as I am here, nothing will hurt you." Every morning, they ate breakfast together. He would peel oranges for her and make her laugh with silly jokes. At night, he tucked her into bed, kissed her forehead, and said, "Good night, my sunshine." Amara thought her life would stay beautiful forever. But life can change in one moment. One afternoon, Amara was playing outside when she saw 2 men walking toward the gate. Their faces were sad. Their voices were low. When they spoke to Madame Zola, Amara heard the words that broke her small heart into pieces. Her father was gone. A road accident. No hope. No return. Amara fell to her knees. Her little hands grabbed the earth. She cried so much she could not breathe. She held her father's picture tight. The same picture she still carries on the night of the storm. After her father's funeral, the house felt empty. The laughter disappeared. The warmth died. Madame Zola, her stepmother, stepped forward as the new head of the house. At first, she spoke soft words. "Amara, do not worry," she said with her fake smile. "I will take care of you. You are like my own daughter." Ha! But that smile never reached her eyes. Within days, Zola changed everything. She fired all the maids. "The house is too noisy," she said. But Amara soon understood the truth. Zola did not want help. She wanted a servant. And she chose Amara. Amara's new life started at 4 a.m. every day. While the world was still dark, Zola banged on her door. "Wake up! Fetch water! Mop the floor! Wash the clothes! Hurry!" Amara rubbed her sleepy eyes and ran outside with her bucket. The morning water was cold. Her hands turned stiff, but she kept going because she was scared of Zola's anger. She swept the floors. She washed the dishes. She cooked simple food, even though she was still learning. If she made one mistake, Zola shouted at her. "Useless girl, you cannot do even one thing right." Zola's daughter, Bisi, was even worse. She was spoiled and proud. She threw her shoes on the floor and ordered Amara to pick them up. She ate good food, chicken, rice, sweetbread, and tossed the bones on the table. Sometimes Amara got dry bread. Sometimes she only drank water. Sometimes she slept with an empty stomach. Still, she did not complain. In the small storeroom where she slept, she would sit on the wooden floor, hold her father's picture, and whisper, "Papa, I miss you. Please give me strength." One hot afternoon, when Amara finished washing clothes, she walked past Zola's room. The door was half open. Zola was talking on the phone. "I want to sell this house," Zola said angrily. "I want to move to the city. But that stupid girl, her name is on the will. I cannot do anything while she is here." Amara froze. Her heart beat fast. She felt a cold fear in her stomach. Zola lowered her voice and said, "I need to get rid of her. Once she is gone, the house will be mine." Amara stepped back slowly. Her hands were shaking. She knew Zola was cruel, but she never knew Zola wanted her gone forever. From that day, Zola became even more harsh. She gave Amara heavier work. She made her scrub the floors until her knees hurt. If Amara was slow, Zola slapped her or pulled her by the arm. Bisi laughed every time. "You look like a little rat," she said. But Amara stayed quiet. She tried to keep peace. She tried to survive. There were small moments of hope. One kind neighbor sometimes waved at her and said, "Stay strong, my child." But Zola always pulled Amara away before she could speak. "Do not talk to the neighbors. They will think you are weak," Zola shouted. Amara lowered her head. She felt like a prisoner in her own home. One evening, Amara cooked dinner for the family. The smell of fried plantain filled the kitchen. Amara carefully placed the food on the table. She hoped Zola would be pleased today. But when Zola tasted the food, her face turned dark. "This is too salty," she yelled. She threw the plate on the floor. Food splattered across Amara's feet. "Clean it, and make something else. Do you want us to starve?" Amara bent down quickly to clean, trying not to cry. Bisi kicked a piece of plantain toward her and laughed. "Eat from the floor, servant girl." Amara stayed silent. But inside, her heart was breaking a little more each day. One night, when the house was quiet, Amara sat alone in her small room. Moonlight fell through the tiny window. She held her father's picture and whispered, "Papa, I am trying. I am trying so hard. But I am tired." A single tear slid down her cheek. Little did she know. Her hardest days were still ahead, and the storm that would change her life forever was coming closer and closer. Days passed. Weeks passed. Amara tried her best to stay strong. She worked from morning until night. She cooked, cleaned, washed, and carried heavy buckets of water. Her small back hurt. Her hands burned, but she still whispered to herself, "Papa would want me to be brave." Soon came the day that always made her heart weak, the anniversary of her father's death. Amara woke up early and prayed. She held the picture close to her chest and said softly, "Papa, I love you. I hope you can see me." As Amara steps into a new life in Kale's mansion, take one moment to subscribe. Your support helps us share more stories of hope after deep pain. She wanted to honor him. She wanted to make something special for him, just the way they used to cook together. Even though she knew Zola would not care, Amara still tried to make a simple, warm meal in his memory. She cooked rice, made soft stew, and fried a little plantain. The smell filled the house. For a moment, she felt her father's love around her again. She smiled softly, but Bisi saw her cooking with peace. And Bisi hated when Amara looked happy. She walked into the kitchen with her sharp eyes and crossed arms. "What is this?" she said. "Why are you making food like this? Who allowed you?" Amara answered softly, "It is for my father. Today is... I don't care," Bisi shouted. She picked up the pot of hot soup from the stove. Amara froze. Her heart stopped for a moment. Before Amara could speak, Bisi pretended to trip and spilled the hot soup all over Zola's new dress that was hanging nearby. The stew splashed everywhere. The dress was ruined. Bisi screamed loudly, pretending to cry. "Mama! Mama! Look what Amara did. She spoiled your dress. She did it on purpose." Zola ran into the kitchen. When she saw her expensive dress covered in soup, her eyes grew wild, like fire. "Amara!" she screamed. Amara shook her head fast. No, Madame Zola. I did not. But Zola grabbed her arm hard. Liar, useless girl. You want to destroy me? You want to bring shame to this house? No, please, I didn't. Zola slapped her. The sound echoed in the room. Amara fell to the floor. Tears filled her eyes. She held her cheek in shock. Bisi watched with a small smile. Zola did not stop. She dragged Amara by her clothes toward the door. You do not belong here. You are only trouble. Get out, Amara cried. Please. I am sorry. I didn't do anything. Zola did not listen. Her heart was full of hate. She pushed Amara out of the door and threw her small bag into the yard. Go, get lost, and do not come back. She slammed the door. That moment connected to the stormy night in the hook. But now, we see the full truth behind that painful scene. The sky was turning dark. Thick clouds gathered. The wind grew cold. Amara tried to stand, but her legs were weak. She looked at the house through her tears. Papa, she whispered, I wish you were here. She picked up her small bag. It was light because she had almost nothing. A torn dress, an old book, and the picture of her father. That was all she had left in the world. Rain began to fall. First a few drops, then more. Then the sky opened and poured like it was crying for her. Lightning flashed. Thunder roared. Amara had nowhere to go, no one to call. No home. Not even dry clothing. She walked toward the small shed near the gate. But even that was locked. She sat on the muddy ground. The rain soaked her hair, her clothes, her skin. Her teeth shook from the cold. The picture frame slipped from her wet fingers and fell into the mud. She quickly grabbed it and held it close to her chest. I miss you, Papa, she whispered. Why did you leave me with them? Inside the house, Zola and Bisi were laughing. She will not last long, Zola said. Tomorrow, we will say she ran away. Outside, Amara cried quietly. The rain mixed with her tears. She hugged her knees and closed her eyes. For a moment, she thought about giving up, but then a bright light flashed over her face. She opened her eyes slowly. Two sharp headlights cut through the dark storm. A sleek black car stopped right in front of her. She had never seen a car so expensive. The doors had gold lines. The wheels were shiny like mirrors. The back door opened. A tall man stepped out. He wore a fine black suit. Rain fell on his shoulders, but he did not care. His shoes sank slightly in the mud, but he did not stop walking. He moved toward Amara with steady steps and opened a large black umbrella over her head. For the first time in hours, the rain stopped hitting her. Amara blinked. She could not believe what she was seeing. The man looked down at her. His eyes were warm, kind, soft. He knelt beside her and said, Child, why are you alone in this storm? Amara opened her mouth, but no words came out. Her voice was broken. Her body shook. He touched her shoulder lightly. You do not belong in the mud, he said. She stared at him, confused, scared, and hope-filled at the same time. He gave her his hand. A hand that looked strong and gentle. A hand that promised safety. Come with me, he said softly. You are not safe out here. Come. Amara looked at the umbrella above her head. For hours she had been cold and wet. Now someone was trying to help her. She looked at the house one last time. No light. No open door. No love. She placed her tiny hand into his. He helped her stand up. She almost fell, but he held her gently. He opened the car door for her. Sit inside. It is warm. Amara slowly stepped into the car. She had never sat in something so beautiful. The seats felt soft. The air felt warm. She wrapped her arms around herself. The man sat beside her and told the driver, Take us home, Amara whispered. Why are you helping me? He looked at her with sad eyes. Because once, long ago, your father helped me. The car drove away, leaving the dark, cold house behind. Amara had no idea that her life was about to change forever. The car moved through the dark streets while rain hit the windows. Amara sat very still. She held her wet bag close to her chest. Her hands shook, not from cold now, but from fear and confusion. She looked at the tall man beside her. He spoke gently. "My name is Kairo," he said. "You do not have to be afraid." Amara lowered her eyes. She whispered, "Thank you, sir." Kairo watched her for a moment. Her small face was pale. Her lips were trembling. Her clothes were soaked and torn. Mud covered her legs and arms. She looked more like a lost little bird than a child. Kairo removed his expensive coat and placed it around her shoulders. Her eyes widened. "Sir, I will make it dirty." "It is only a coat," Kairo said softly. "You are more important than this." A tear ran down Amara's cheek. No one had spoken to her with such kindness in years. They drove through a tall gate and into a large, bright mansion. The walls shined like glass. The garden lights glowed. Tall guards stood by the doors. Amara gasped softly. She had never seen anything like it. The driver opened the car door. Kairo stepped out and held his hand for her again. "Hail, it is safe here," he said. She placed her tiny hand in his and stepped out. She felt shy and unsure. The grand house felt too big for someone like her. As they entered the mansion, warm air wrapped around her. Gold lights filled the hallway. Several maids rushed forward. "Sir Kairo, what happened?" one asked. As she saw Amara's condition, "She needs care," Kairo said. "Prepare a warm bath. Bring clean clothes. And food. Something soft and warm." "Yes, sir," the maid said and hurried away. Amara looked up at him. "Sir, I can work for you," she whispered nervously. "I can clean. I can cook. Please don't send me away." "No." Kairo knelt down to her level. "You are not a worker here," he said. "You are my guest. You will rest." Amara's eyes filled with tears again. She nodded slowly. Not used to kindness. The maids led her to a large bathroom. The tub was full of warm, sweet-smelling water. Steam rose gently. One maid said, "Come, child, you are safe here." Amara stepped into the warm water, and her whole body relaxed. She almost cried again because she had forgotten how warmth felt. After the bath, the maids gave her soft clothes. Her hair was gently dried. She was given a bowl of hot porridge and sweet tea. Amara ate slowly. She was scared someone might shout at her for eating too much. But no one did. The maids only smiled at her. Later, Kairo checked on her. "How do you feel now?" he asked. "That..." Amara lowered her head. "Better. Thank you, sir." Kairo sat in a chair across from her. "Amara," he said, "I knew your father many years ago. He helped me when I had nothing. I owe him a debt of the heart. When I saw you tonight, I felt God was reminding me of my promise." Amara looked at her hands. "My father, he was a good man." "Yes," Kairo said with a soft smile. "He was." For the first time in a long time, Amara felt safe enough to breathe. Days passed in the mansion. Amara slowly began to heal. She slept in a soft bed with clean sheets. She ate warm meals every day. Her cheeks began to glow again. Her hair looked neat. Her eyes looked alive. But what surprised Kairo the most was her heart. She did not act spoiled. She did not demand anything. She thanked the maids for every little thing. She helped the gardener carry tools. She fed the birds in the yard. She picked flowers and handed them to the cook without wanting anything in return. One morning, Kairo stood near the window watching her. She laughed softly as a small bird landed near her feet. It was the first time Kairo saw her smile fully. It warmed something inside him. He realized she was special. One afternoon, Kairo decided to test something. He placed a shiny gold bracelet and a diamond ring on the table in his study. He pretended to forget them and walked out. A few minutes later, Amara came in to return a book she had borrowed. She saw the jewelry. She looked left. She looked right. She did not touch anything. Then she gently picked up the bracelet with 2 fingers and hurried out of the room. "Sir Kale!" she called. Kale walked back in. "Yes, Amara?" She held out the jewelry with both hands. "Sir, you dropped these. They should not be on the table. Someone could steal them." Kale smiled. "But you did not." Amara shook her head fast. "No. These things are not mine. I cannot take what is not mine." Kale nodded slowly. "Your heart is pure." Amara frowned softly. "Sir, people say I am useless. People can be wrong," Kale said. "Very wrong." Amara looked down, feeling shy. No one had defended her like this before. As days turned into weeks, Kale and Amara grew close. In the evenings, they sat in the garden. Kale read books to her, simple stories. Warm stories. Stories filled with hope. Amara listened with bright eyes. Sometimes she told him stories from her village, stories her father once told her. Kale enjoyed her company. She spoke with honesty. She smiled with softness. Her words were simple but full of heart. One night, while sitting under the stars, Amara said, "Sir Kale, why are you so kind to me?" Kale looked at her for a long moment. "Because you deserve kindness. Because life has hurt you too much. Because your father was like a brother to me. And because—" He paused, choosing his words gently. "You remind me that goodness still exists." "He's Lana Teladiv." Amara looked at her hands again. "No one has ever said that to me." Kale felt a warm pull in his chest. He had everything: money, cars, a big mansion. But none of it ever brought him peace. But now, watching Amara smile softly, he felt something he had not felt in years: joy. One day, while walking through the garden, Kale stopped and looked at her carefully. "Amara," he said, "you have changed this house. You have changed me." She looked confused. I do not understand." Kale took a deep breath. "I do not want you to think of me as your master or your owner. I want you to think of me as your partner, your family. Amara, would you allow me to care for you for the rest of our lives?" Amara froze. Her eyes grew wide. Her heart beat like a drum. She whispered, "Sir." "Why me?" Kale smiled gently. "Because you are more precious than gold." A soft wind blew through the garden. Amara held her father's picture close to her heart. She felt something new: hope. She whispered, "Papa, maybe God has sent someone to help me." She looked up at Kale with tearful eyes. Her answer would change everything. Life in Kale's mansion had changed Amara in ways she never imagined. She walked with more peace now. She spoke with more confidence. She slept without fear. But even with this new warmth in her heart, one thing still rested inside her: her past. The pain, the memories, the storm that almost took her life. Kale saw this, and he made a decision. He would not let her past chase her forever. So he planned the biggest event the town had ever seen: a grand ball. People from every direction received an invitation. Rich families, chiefs, business leaders, women groups, elders, musicians, even pastors. Everyone wondered what the celebration was for, but Kale kept the truth hidden. Amara did not know either. She only saw the house fill with lights, flowers, gold cloth, and bright decorations. The cooks prepared many dishes. The musicians practiced all day. The maids decorated every corner with sweet-smelling flowers. Amara watched with wide eyes. "Sir Kale, is something special happening?" Kale smiled softly. "Yes, Amara, something very special." His eyes held a secret she did not understand yet. As evening came, The mansion glowed like a palace. Long candles burned along the walls. Music filled the hall. The sky outside was clear and calm, as if God himself was watching. Guests began to arrive in fine cars and bright clothes. Women wore long gowns of red, blue, gold, and green. Men wore sharp suits and shiny shoes. Everyone whispered as they walked in. Who is this special person? Why is Kairo hosting such a grand night? I heard he will make a big announcement. Inside the huge hall, a golden staircase stood shining under the lights. That staircase would soon carry the truth that would shake everyone. Meanwhile, in a small room upstairs, Amara sat in front of a big mirror. Several maids helped her dress. They placed her in a long golden gown that sparkled like sunlight touching water. The gown fit her perfectly. It flowed around her like a river of light. Her hair was curled and pinned with small pearls. Her skin glowed softly. For the first time in her life, Amara felt beautiful in a way she had never known was possible. This dress, is it really for me? She whispered. Yes, child, the maid said. Tonight is your night. Amara touched the gown carefully, afraid she might ruin it. She picked up her father's picture and hugged it to her chest. Papa, she whispered. I hope you are watching. I hope you are proud. Downstairs, Madame Zola and Bisi entered the mansion loudly, as if the whole place belonged to them. Their clothes were bright, shiny, and too much for the elegant event. People looked at them with confusion. Bisi flipped her hair and whispered, Mama, tonight I will find a rich man, maybe even Kairo. I will marry him and live in this mansion. Zola nodded proudly. Yes, my daughter. Show them your beauty. Show them your charm. No one will look at any girl when you walk in. They did not know the truth. They did not know who the night belonged to. They simply walked around the hall with fake smiles, hoping to impress the wealthy guests. Suddenly, the music stopped. The lights dimmed. Everyone turned toward the grand staircase. Kairo stepped out, wearing a fine black suit. He looked calm, powerful, and ready to reveal the truth he had kept hidden. Ladies and gentlemen, he said, his deep voice echoing through the hall. Thank you for coming. Tonight is not about wealth. It is not about fame. Tonight is about honoring a heart so pure that it shines brighter than gold. People leaned forward. Zola whispered, Maybe it's Bisi. Bisi smiled proudly. Kairo continued, Tonight, I present to you someone who has walked through pain but never lost her goodness. Someone who was thrown away, but rose again. Channels melt, the lights shifted. A soft golden glow fell on the top of the staircase. Amara appeared. Gasps filled the hall. She looked like a queen. Her gown shined like morning light. Her steps were soft but full of quiet power. Her eyes, once filled with fear, now showed strength. People whispered, Is that the little girl he saved? She looks like a princess. She looks like a blessing. Down below, Zola froze. Her face turned pale. Her glass slipped from her hand and shattered across the floor. Amara! She cried loudly. Bisi stared with her mouth open. No. No. This cannot be. How? Amara reached the bottom of the stairs. Kairo walked to her and took her hand gently. She looked at him with shy eyes. Kairo lifted her hand in front of the whole crowd. This, he said proudly, is the woman I will marry. The woman who healed my home. The woman God sent to teach me love again. The hall burst into loud claps and cheers. Some people wiped their tears. Others smiled with full hearts. Zola pushed through the people and ran to Amara. My sweet daughter, my precious Amara. Come. Come to Mama. I missed you so much. Amara stepped back. Fear rushed through her. The memories of the stormy night came flooding back. Before Zola could reach her, Kairo stepped between them like a shield. His voice was sharp. Hell, stop there. The hall fell silent. You threw her out like trash. Kairo said. You left her in the cold rain. You called her garbage. You tried to break her soul. And now, when she shines, You pretend to love her? Zola's lips shook. No. I was angry. I was confused. Please, Kale. Let me speak to her. Amara looked at Zola. So many memories. So much pain. I cried and begged you, Amara said softly. I begged you to open the door. You did not even look at me. You said I belonged with dogs. You threw my things into the mud. You hurt me again and again. Tears fell down Zola's cheeks. Forgive me, Amara, please. I was blind. Amara looked at her with calm, steady eyes. I forgive you, Amara whispered. Not for you, but for me. My heart needs peace, Zola sobbed. Then come home with me. Amara shook her head gently. No, my home is where I am loved, where I am safe. My home is here. Kale took her hand again. The crowd clapped. Some cried softly. Bisi tried to step forward too. Amara, sister. Please. Help me talk to Kairo. The hall burst into quiet laughter. Even Kale smiled a little. Amara looked at Bisi and said calmly, True love does not grow from lies or greed. It grows from kindness. Bisi lowered her head, embarrassed. Kale raised Amara's hand once more and said loudly, Let tonight be a lesson for us all. Cruelty may win for a moment, but kindness wins forever. The one with a pure heart always rises. The hall shook with applause. Amara closed her eyes and whispered inside her heart, Papa, I made it. I am safe now. The music began again. People danced. Lights sparkled. The mansion glowed with joy. Amara had gone from mud to royalty, from tears to triumph, from pain to a new life. And this time, no storm would ever break her again. Never look down on the weak. God lifts them higher than those who hurt them. A pure heart is stronger than gold, stronger than power, stronger than cruelty. Kindness always wins in the end. If Amara's victory touched your heart today, please subscribe. Your one click helps us bring more stories where the hurt find justice and rise again.